Hello student. So after completion of the meninges, let's see the other part of the CNS, that is the brainstem. So brainstem, it consists of the midbrain, pons and the medulla oblongata. So superiorly the midbrain, it is continuous with the forebrain, which includes the cerebrum and the diencephalon, and inferiorly, that is the medulla oblongata, it is connected with the spinal cord. Then posteriorly, that is the brainstem, means the pons medulla, that is separated from the cerebellum by the fourth ventricle, and these fourth ventricle are cranially continuous with the cerebral aqueduct, and inferiorly it is connected with the central canal of the spinal cord. Then midbrain, pons and medulla, these three structure called the brainstem, it is connected with the cerebellum by the superior, middle and inferior cerebellar peduncle. So let's see the details structure of the brainstem. So here in this diagram you can see that is the brainstem. So this is the midbrain, this is the pons and this is the medulla oblongata. So these three part, it is called the midbrain. So it should be superiorly connected with the forebrain, that includes the cerebrum and the diencephalon, and inferiorly, that is the medulla oblongata, it is connected or continuous with the spinal cord. Then posterior to that the brainstem, there is presence the cavity called the fourth ventricle, and posterior to it there is presence the cerebellum. Then the midbrain, pons and medulla, they are attached with the cerebellum by the superior, middle and inferior cerebellar peduncle. So here in this diagram you can see that is the brainstem. This is the midbrain, this is pons and this is the medulla oblongata. Posterior to it there is presence that the triangular cavity called the fourth ventricle, and posterior to it there is presence that the cerebellum. This is the brainstem. This cerebellum is connected to the brainstem by the three peduncles, that is the superior cerebellar peduncle, the middle cerebellar peduncle and the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So throughout these three peduncle, that is the cerebellum is connected to that the three parts of the brainstem. After then we should have to see that is the cranial nerves. So maximum cranial nerves, they should be originate from the different part of the brainstem. You know there are the 12 pairs of the cranial nerves are originate, and from these the olfactory and the optic, these two nerves they are originate from the cerebrum, and remaining the 10 cranial nerves they should be originate from the different part of the brainstem. So let's see how the origin of that the cranial nerve. So here oculomotor nerve you can see, third, and the last fourth nerve, that is the trochlear nerve. So oculomotor nerve, that is originate from the anterior part of the midbrain, and the trochlear nerve that should be originate from the posterior part of the midbrain. And this trochlear nerve, that is the only one nerve which is originate from the posterior part of the brain stem, which winds around the surface of the midbrain and comes on the ventral surface. So here you can see that is the trochlear nerve, this one. After then from the pons there is the origin of fifth cranial nerve, that is the trigeminal nerve. So here you can see that is the sensory and the motor root of the trigeminal nerve. After then that is the sixth, seventh and eighth, that means the abducent, facial and the auditory, this one. So these cranial nerves they should be originate from the junction of the pons and the medulla oblongata. So here you can see that is the abducent nerve, then the facial nerve, this one, that is the sensory and the motor root of the facial nerve, and this is the vestibulocochlear nerve, or that is called the auditory nerve. After then that is the 9th, 10th, 11th and the 12th, means that is the glossopharyngeal, vagus and the spinal accessory nerve and the hypoglossal nerve. They should be originate from the different part of the medulla oblongata. Out of this, the glossopharyngeal, vagus and the spinal accessory, means 9th, 10th and the 11th. So that should be originate from the and posterolateral sulcus of the medulla oblongata. So here you can see that is the glossopharyngeal nerve, this is the vagus nerve, and this is the spinal accessory nerve. So that should be originate from here. That is called the posterolateral sulcus. And the 12th cranial nerve, that is the hypoglossal nerve, it should be originate from the anterolateral sulcus of the medulla oblongata. So here you can see that is the hypoglossal nerve. So it should be originate from this one, that is the anterolateral sulcus of the medulla oblongata, this one. So after completion of that is the cranial nerve, let's see that is the medulla oblongata. So the medulla oblongata, this one, in Ayurveda it is called the Sushumna Shirsha. So the medulla oblongata, it is caudal and the ventral part of the hind brain, and it is continuous above with the pons and below with the spinal cord. Then extend. So it is starts from the lower border of the pons. So here you can see that is the triangular structure, it is called the pons. So it starts from the lower border of the pons to the transverse plane, passing along the upper border of the posterior arch of the atlas. So atlas, that is the first cervical vertebra. Then the shape of the medulla oblongata. So here you can see the shape. So it is the piriformis in shape. Then the length from this region to this region, that is the 3 cm, the width that is 2 cm, and the thickness is 1.25 cm. Okay, after then we should have to see that is the relations. The relations of the medulla oblongata. So upper surface of the basilar part of the occipital lobe and the upper part of the odontoid process. So here you can see this one here, that is the odontoid process is present. Then the posteriorly, that is the notch between the hemisphere of the cerebellum. So posterior side, here you can see that is the cerebellum is present. So here that is the notch of the cerebellum. After then we should have to see that is the external features of the medulla oblongata. So for this again we should have to see the another diagram, this one. So in the external features it has the surfaces, the two surfaces, that is the anterior surface, and posterior to it, that is the posterior surface. After then we should have to see that is the fissures and the sulci of the medulla oblongata. So that the medulla oblongata, it should be divided into that the right and the left hull by anterior median fissure. So here you can see this is the anterior median fissure, and the posterior part by the posterior median fissure are the upward continuation of the spinal cord. After then see the fissures and sulci. So medulla oblongata, it is divided into that the right and the left hulls by the anterior median fissure. So here you can see that the vertical fissure, anterior median fissure, so this one, and the posterior median fissure. So on the posterior side of the medulla oblongata, so here in this diagram you can see this one. So this is the posterior median fissure. So because of the anterior median fissure and the posterior median fissure, the medulla oblongata, it should be divided into the right hulls, this one, and that is the left hulls. Then on each side of the every right and left hull, there is presence again a sulcus. So that is called the anterolateral sulcus. So this one. Okay? And it lies in line with the ventral root of the spinal nerves. And from this, that is the hypoglossal nerve, it should be originate. So here you can see from this both side. the hypoglossal nerve, it should be originate. Then the posterolateral sulcus, this one, it lies with the dorsal nerve root of the spinal nerves and emerges the three cranial nerves, that is the glossopharyngeal, vagus and the spinal accessory. So from this region, here you can see 1, 2 and 3, that is the glossopharyngeal, vagus and the spinal accessory nerve, that is from the posterolateral sulcus. Then the region between the anterior median fissure and the anterolateral sulcus, so this region, so that is the anterolateral sulcus and this is the anteromedian fissure. So between this, that the elevated part, it is called the pyramid on both sides. This is called the pyramid. Then this pyramid shows the elevation, that is due to presence of the large bundle of the nerve fibers which descends from the cerebral cortex to that the spinal cord. Some fibers, they crosses with each other. So here you can see these nerve fibers, they are crosses with each other at the lower side. So it is called the pyramidal decussation. So here you can see that is called the pyramidal decussation. Then some fibers, they are transversely goes across to the upper part of the pyramid. So here you can see these fibers. So it is called anterior external arcuate fibers, this one. Then the upper part of the region shows an oval elevation in between, that is the anteromedian sulcus and the posteromedian sulcus. So here it shows that the elevation. So it is called the olive. So both side, it is called the olive, and it is produced by the largest mass of the gray matter called the olivary nucleus. Then the posterior part of the medulla oblongata. So here in this diagram you can see that is the posterior part of the medulla oblongata, this one. So the posterior part of the medulla oblongata between the posterior median fissure and the posterior lateral sulcus. So that is the posterior median fissure and that is the posterolateral sulcus, means this region and this region, containing a tract called the fasciculus gracialis, and next to laterally the fasciculus cuneatus. So from this region and from this region, that is called the fasciculus cuneatus. So medial side these two tracts are present, that is called the fasciculus gracialis, and lateral side that is the two tracts are present, that is called the fasciculus cuneatus. Then the fasciculi ends in the rounded elevation called the gracile and the cunate tubercle, which consist of the gray matter called the nucleus of gracialis and the nucleus of cuneatus. So that should be seen during the TS of the medulla oblongata. Then just above to this tubercle posteriorly aspect, it shows a triangular fossa. So here you can see that is the triangular fossa at the lower part of the fourth ventricle, beyond either side by the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So here that is the attachment of the inferior cerebellar peduncle that should be present, and this is the fourth ventricle. Then after then we should have to see that is the internal structure of the medulla oblongata. So the internal structure of the medulla oblongata, these are well appreciated by the examining the transverse section. So whenever you can take the transverse section into that the different regions of the medulla oblongata, you can see that is the clear idea of the internal structure. So first transverse section that should be taken at the decussation of pyramid. So here you can see that is the pyramidal decussation is present. So here that is the first transverse section should be given. Second transverse section that should be taken at the level of decussation of sensory decussation. So here, and the third TS taken at the level of the olive. So here, so in this way, that is the 3 region, it should be take that this transverse section and the different structure that should be seen into that the TS. So first, that is the taking TS at the decussation of pyramid. So in the decussation of pyramid, you can see this structure, this one. So here you can see that is the pyramidal decussation. Second one, that is at the level of sensory decussation. So in the sensory decussation, here you can see that is the sensory decussation and the different structure. And third one, that is at the level of the olive. So at the level of the olive, you can see that is this structure. So let's see the first TS which taken at the decussation of the pyramid, this one. Then let's see the TS of the spinal cord at the level of pyramidal decussation. Then firstly see that is the white matter. You know that is any TS of the brainstem that consists of centrally the gray matter, which is butterfly in shape. So here you can see that is the gray matter, and the peripheral, that is the white matter, is present, this one. So firstly we should have to see that is the white matter, means that is the peripheral part. So the peripheral part or in the white matter, anteriorly it shows that is the 2 pyramids here. Then posterior to it there is presence the decussation of the pyramidal tract. So here you can see the decussation of the pyramidal tract, this one. So it is the most important feature of that the TS, that is near about the 70% of the nerve fibers, they should be decussate with each other, and this fiber it runs backwards and laterally. So here you can see it goes backwards and laterally to the lateral white column. Then posterior side it shows here that is the fasciculus gracialis on both medial side, and laterally that is the fasciculus cuneatus. So here. Then the gray matter. So the gray matter you can see that is the butterfly in shape and the decomposing the pyramidal fibers, this one. It separate the anterior horn of the gray matter. So here you can see that forming or cut the anterior horn of the gray matter by that the pyramidal fibers. The separated gray matter form the spinal nucleus of the accessory nerve. So here you can see that is the spinal nucleus of the accessory nerve. Then the central gray matter it pushes the backward, and it should be form the nucleus of gracialis and the nucleus of cuneatus, this one. Nucleus of gracialis on medially and the nucleus of cuneatus on the laterally, and on the lateral most part there is the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. So here, so in this way that is the 3 nucleus that should be formed due to presence of the posterior horn of the gray matter of the medulla oblongata. Okay? Then the other gray matter that should be present on the laterally, here the tract is present that is called the posterior spinocerebellar tract and the anterior spinocerebellar tract, and the third one that should be present the spinal lemniscus on the both side. So that is the features which is present in the TS of the medulla oblongata at the region of the pyramidal decussation. Then next to it we should have to see the TS of the medulla oblongata at the region of sensory decussation. So here in this diagram you can see that is the sensory decussation.